Everyone, this is Ashley with Marshflower Studio. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to make this super cute little swingy duck. So I saw this idea in, I think, a TikTok video. This girl had one of these hanging from her car rear view mirror. So when she drove, whoop, he just kind of gently swung back and forth. And it takes a little bit of effort to balance him unless you sew his little wings to the sides of the swing, which I'm actually going to end up doing in just a little bit. But you can get it just to balance straight up on its own. If it's going to be you're dangling in a car or something, swinging from a rear view mirror, it could be so cute. But so I couldn't find a pattern for the one that she had in the video, so I kind of took some other patterns and some other pieces from some other things that I have made to kind of come up with this adorable little swinging duck. And I mean, you could do this little swing idea with pretty much any little creation that you've got. If you wanted to have a crab or a turtle or a little teddy bear, a little dog, anything like that, this could be super cute. So I'm going to set that one over here to the side for a little bit. I do have some small little safety eyes. If you would prefer to do embroidered eyes or button eyes, that's always an option too. So we've got 3 colors. I've got my soft white, my sunflower, and my cinnamon for my brown there. I am using a 4mm hook with worsted weight yarns. I like for all of the things that I make that are a little on the smaller size to be a little bit tighter and compact, so they kind of hold up to wear and tear a little bit better. To start with, we're going to do our magic circle and 6 single crochets into our magic circle. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then we're going to have 6 increases, so we'll have a total of 12 as our stitch count for this next row. So there's 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10, 11 and 12. Alright, for our next row, we're going to have an increase out to 18. So I'm going to have an increase, that's 1 and 2, and then a single crochet for 3. So then we'll have 4 and 5, and then 6. We'll have 7 and 8, and then 9, 10 and 11, and then 12. We'll have 13 and 14, and then 15, 16, 17, and then 18. Make sure you pull your magic circle nice and tight so that hole kind of stays closed. We're going to do 3 rows of 18, and I don't want to count that right now, so I'm going to do my first 2 here and then put in my stitch marker. For anyone who hasn't seen some of my other videos yet, I use just a large hairpin to do my stitch markers. They stay on well, they're easy to get off when you want to get them off and out of the way quickly. They don't just fall off like some of the other ones I've used tended to do on me. So these are a pretty cheap alternative, and I highly recommend giving them a try. All right, so start working on my 3 rows of 18 here. And our background noise at our house is always our tiny tornado chaos creators. They're usually talking and playing and having a good time. However, sometimes they get really excited and they squeal really loud, or they get mad at each other and they get grumpy. This is actually the second video I've made to show you guys these little ducks, because they got into a disagreement about whose toy was whose. Alright, so there's 1, 2. I've got one more row of 18, and then we'll move on to the next part. All right, so back around to the beginning. In our next row, we're going to have an increase out to 24. So I'm going to do my increase and then 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2, and then 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then 7, 8, 9 and 10, and 11, 12, 13 and 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18, 19, 20, 21, oops, and 22, and 23, 24. Right, in our next row, we're going to have a single crochet, and then we're going to do an increase and 2 single crochets. We're going to have 3 of those total. So here's our second increase and 2 singles, and then our third increase with 2 singles, and then we'll have 14 single crochets to get us back to the start. So that was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right, then we're gonna have 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to have 2 increases side by side. So increase, increase, oh, and then 20 single crochets to get us back to the beginning. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, for our next row, we're going to have a single crochet, and then we're going to do a decrease and 2. And we're going to do that all the way around. So that was 1. We'll have our second decrease here. There's our third decrease. There's our fourth decrease. Here's our fifth decrease. Here's our sixth decrease. And then here is our seventh decrease. All right, in our next row, we're going to have another single crochet to start, and then decrease with a single crochet all the way around. So it'll be 8 times total. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let me get rid of that because it's getting in my way. Okay, so at this point, we need to place our eyes, and our eyes are going to go between rows 4 and 5. But we need to kind of figure out where our tail went. So if you look at it from above, you'll be able to see, like back here, you've got a little bit more of a point. That's where your tail is. So you want to make sure your eyes are opposite of that. All right. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. Put 1 here. And 1 about right there. We'll put our backs on them. Okay. And now all that's left to do is decreases to close in the bottom of this little duck. And the number, the number of decreases is kind of up to you. I usually do about 13. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of stuffing down inside this little duck. Make sure I get his head filled up there. And I'm going to come back in a few minutes after I've done most of my decreases down here and kind of make sure that that shape really stands out where his tail is. So I've got my eyes and then my little point for my tail. And I like to leave my starter tail out because I'll tie off to that when I'm done. If you don't do that, if you prefer to weave in your ends, just tuck this starter tail down inside as well. So let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, I'm gonna put a little bit more stuffing in there to make sure that I have my shape nice and filled out. And if you don't have enough stuffing, if there's a certain shape you need, your yarn isn't just going to do that on its own. Sometimes you have to help it with the stuffing, show off where all of those little details are that are crocheted into place. Okay. So I'm going to do a few more decreases here. I don't remember what number I was on a minute ago, but it doesn't really matter that much. I'm going to do a slip stitch to fasten off here. Just need a little bit of a tail because we're just going to sew this closed. If this is not something you've done before, super easy, and it makes the finishing part look a whole lot nicer and neater. So I'm going to go from the outside towards the inside under that front loop only. And I'm going to do that to each one of these last stitches. Front loop only from the outside to the inside. This last one here. So I'll pull that tight. This is where I like to use my starter tail when I can. I just make a little square knot. Kind of helps secure that in place so it's a little less likely to come loose or undone. And then I stick my needle, my yarn needle, just right back down through that same hole and out through another side. See how nice and neat that looks? So we'll trim that off. And I've got my head and body for my little duck. So our next step, we can do the wings, are also super easy and simple to do. We're gonna have our magic circle. We're gonna do 5 half double crochets in our magic circle. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I slip stitch just down into that magic circle as well, so it kind of creates a little bit more of a smooth curve down. And then we'll cut off with just a little bit of thread or yarn so that we can sew it to the body. All right, so we've got this cute little half circle for a wing, and we will sew that into place right on his side here. Okay, I'm gonna wait till the end to get my pieces sewn on, because most of you can handle that kind of on your own. So for our little legs, our feet, this is another fairly simple way to do some feet, especially for smaller projects like this. I'm going to do my slip knot, and then I'm going to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the second chain from the hook. So not this first one, but the second one. I'm going to do a single crochet. I'm going to do 1 chain, and then in the same hole I'm going to do another single crochet. Okay, and then I'm just going to slip stitch 3 back up that chain. I'll do a little chain and cut this off so you've got a little bit to kind of sew it to the bottom of the body. but that is our little foot, okay? And we'll just sew it right underneath the edge here. If you swing in, they're going to be sticking out front, not hanging down underneath. So make sure you stick them so they will hang out the front. So we make 2 of these. For mine, I guess just the way that I hold my yarn, they kind of turn in on the bottoms. So with this little duck, if you can tell the difference, this one is just upside down basically. So instead of having both of them kind of curve to the left, I have this one upside down so it curves to the right while this one curves to the left. You can see that. All right. So it's up to you if you want to do that, but that's how I did my little feet. And then our beak, you can just embroider a beak if you would prefer to kind of keep it a little bit more simple. The beak that I have on this little guy here is, well, I need a chain. So we're going to do a slip knot. We're going to do chain 3. This is a little beak. In the second chain from the hook, we're going to do a single crochet. Oop. In the first chain, we're going to do 3 single crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3, and those are all going in the same hole. And then in our last stitch over here, we're going to do 2 more single crochets, so technically an increase. And then I'm going to slip stitch under that first stitch from the last row. So we'll cut off a little bit of a tail to sew this on. And if you're like me, this is a little bit flat right now. So I'm just going to use my fingers to kind of bend it in half to get that right beak shape. Okay, so I've got the tops of my stitches over here now, and then that original chain is kind of sticking to the front. All right, so we'll sew that right underneath those eyes, and he'll be ready to go. As far as your little swing, so depending on your yarn size, your tension, you may need to adjust the size of your swing so that it fits your particular duck or animal a little bit better. But basically all you're doing is creating a little rectangle. So the first one that I did, I used all slip stitches, and it was a little bit tedious, and then it started to not have the right shape that I was looking for. So see, I did 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We'll do 12 chains for this one and see how this one goes. So then I'm just going to single crochet back and forth a couple of rows. Just until I think it's wide enough. It's the last one for this row. I'll chain 1 and turn, and then we'll just single crochet back across. think I had 8 or 9 rows when I was doing the slip stitch all the way across. I think with the single crochet, we may only need 3 or maybe 4 rows. I'm kind of thinking 3 rows might be enough right now. So I chained 1 and turned, and then we will go back across. And some of the little animals that I do are inspired from some of the bath toys that my kids have. So I'm sitting here picturing a little frog sitting on his little log. That would also be very cute. Okay, so to make the kind of rope or chain for the sides of your swing, I'm going to do just 2 slip stitches down the side of the swing so that you're more in the middle of this, you know, board. Okay, and then you're just going to chain to your heart's content for as long as you would like for your swing rope to be. If you need your swing to be a little shorter, then don't do as many. If you need your swing to be a little longer, because you have somewhere higher up to put it, you know, make it longer. See, right now it's looking a little small for what I would like for it to be. And if you get it too long, it's not hard to take out a few. Let's compare these two. All right, so if I want them to be about the same, this one still needs a few more. We'll do like 4 more, and then we'll call that good. All right. So then I'm just going to take and try to go through the middle of the other side of that swing board. I'm going to do a slip stitch, and then I'm going to go to the next stitch over and do another slip stitch. Okay. And then I'm actually going to cut my yarn, and I will weave it down through the swing and tie it off, and then kind of weave both of those pieces back through a little bit. But that's something that I'm sure you guys can handle on your own, weaving in your ends. But now my cute little duck friend, he'll be a little bit wider once he has his wings sewn on. He's got a nice little swing that he can play in and hang around in and just be super adorable. So if you like the video, like the duck, make sure you hit that like button for me. Subscribe so you can see other videos as I post them. Make sure you check out past videos as well. Don't forget about those. I've done lots and lots of cute little quick projects like this. If there's anything you would like for me to make on video, pop that in the comments and I will work on getting those made. I have a website where I sell some of the things that I make, and that is themarshflower.com. There's a page on there specifically for a gallery, and most of the things that I have made have been put on the gallery page. There's some newer things that haven't quite made it there yet. But if you would like to see me make any of those things again, just let me know. And thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.